catching floats is when you're working with multiple colors and you kind of anchor them in place on the back of your work while you go. I'm going to show you the technique, but there are quite a few things to be said about catching floats that I'm going to go over as well. So when you want to catch a float, you drop the yarn that you're working with, take the other one that's kind of following it along and cross it over. You can hold it in place with your fingers if you'd like. Now pick up the yarn that you had just been working with and just continue to knit with that. And so then you see how this yarn is kind of now trailing along with us as we go, rather than just staying behind on this white block. So again, we're dropping that yarn, moving our secondary color over, and just continuing to knit. If you are catching floats, you probably want to do it between, I would do it no fewer than every 5 stitches. My grandma says she does it every 2. That's crazy. Okay, so now we've gotten up to the place where we're just switching colors. So you want to make sure, here's what I do. I knit just one, but then you want to make sure that you aren't pulling the yarn that you've just caught in the floats too tight, because if you pull really tight, it's going to squeeze your knitting together. Okay, so usually I spread them out and then just make sure that your knitting can sit nice and loose on your needle, and then you just keep moving forward. Okay, so why would you catch floats? And the answer is you don't want to get the strands of yarn in the back caught on anything like fingers or jewelry when you put it on. But there are some downsides to catching floats. One is right here. You can see your yarn gets really twisted around each other, and it's really a pain in the butt to untangle it. I once didn't work on a sweater for 2 years because I just didn't want to untangle the yarn. So there's a reason to not do it. And the other thing is, if you are just careful putting your sweaters on or gloves or whatever and not getting your fingers and jewelry caught, a lot of people think there's not a reason to catch floats in the first place. Let me show you the difference too between catching your floats and not catching your floats. I'm doing this practice cowl right here, and I started off by catching them. See that down here? And then I stopped. And you can tell there's a difference on the front side. So you see how it's a little bit more puckered in this section. And some of that, of course, can be blocked out. But versus here, where they're just sort of left to just sort of lay naturally. And also, you might notice I have white down here and then pink on the back, and you can see through a little bit where you can't really see here. The only thing I would say is make sure, if you decide to do it this way, that you're making your floats long enough back here. I started off a lot shorter because this also affects your gauge. Like, it's a lot shorter here than it is when I get up here. You see that? So if I had started off correctly, I would have made my floats super long, just to make sure that they could stretch all the way across.